Okay, thanks for coming, everybody. I'm just going to close that out. Okay, can you see my screen, which is just this little paragraph here? Can you see this little paragraph? Okay, what I'm trying to show you here is this is a footnote. So this is what you put after every quote or summarized quotes. You are going to have to play around with whatever software program you're using because they all do it a little bit differently, but there should be under insert or additions or something like that, and just ask, like in the questions, frequently asked questions, how do I include, sorry, just I'll show you. So in pages, how do I include a footnote? It just says footnote. So all you have to do is press that insert and it automatically keeps them numbered for you. It's pretty great. So this say is the first thing that I'm quoting. Maybe it's in my first body paragraph. So it's going to have a 1. And then right at the bottom is the first time, just like the first time you quote something, you have the full information right there. Afterwards, I can just have foot, comma, Richard, because on my bibliography, it will have the whole thing again. So the first time you quote something, you do this information right here. You do the author, the name of the article, and if it's a website, which it probably is, because that's all we use right now, you have the website there. So this information is in your package. So I just want to draw your attention again to your package. How do I avoid plagiarism? Again, I don't want to scare you, but that is a really good checklist, which is why I included it, but I don't want to take our Zoom time to go over that. In your package, you also have Hello Chicago Style. They love title pages. That is just devoted to the title page. Okay, so you have this, and it even gives you the instructions here how to go about this. So different than MLA, and you need to set your essay up for history using the appropriate Chicago style. Right after that, you have Chicago exemplar, Chicago style essay excerpt. Okay, so it gives you exactly what I've given you right here. I've just used a history source in a topic we're familiar with. Okay, they use something about Harry Houdini's career, and then it shows you those footnotes. Okay, so it shows you how it just automatically footnotes things for you. Question, Sam?
So is bibliography the source cited, or?
Yes.
Yeah, page
So,
109. So this is how you want us to cite our sources, like the one for page 109?
Page 109. Yes, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
So exemplar.
So have a footnote at the bottom of the page, but also have a works cited page at the back. And do you want it titled bibliography?
Yep, I want it just like this. This is Chicago style. So I know this seems arbitrary and somewhat bizarre, but if you do like science, it's APA, like there is a different way to cite things in each of the disciplines. It's a little neurotic, but that's just how it is. And you lose valuable marks if you don't do it this way, both in this essay, like there is more grace here because this is your first go at this. I'm assuming in geography, you didn't use bibliography, you didn't research something last year, and that could be because of COVID, that just became too complicated. We can't let another year slide by. You can't be going into grade 11, never having done something like a bibliography and a research essay where you have to cite this, okay? So the buck stops with me, unfortunately, because you can't go into grade 11 and risk plagiarizing in grade 11 because you've never done it. Those marks in grade 11 count for university, and universities look back most universities aren't interested before grade 11. So again, I'm not trying to scare you, but if we're going to have an oopsie, I want it to happen this year because it didn't happen last year. It needs to happen this year before those grade 11 courses where there's just more at risk, more at stake. Okay. Yeah.
There isn't, like, on Google Docs, there is a format that we can use for like MLA and APA. There isn't one for Chicago. So, like, the title page is doable, but I don't know how to add page numbers, and I don't know how to get the superscript, and I don't know how to add footnotes, and all of that. I don't know how because it isn't in the format.
So Joey,
I know how. I can show it.
Okay, that's amazing. If you guys are your better resource than me, I don't even use Google Docs, I'm sorry. And I can't possibly figure out each one's, the program that you're using, but there are ways to find out, like just Googling online. So Joey, you are really good at this stuff. And I wanna encourage you that you've got this. Google it online, like how do I add footnotes in Google Docs? It sounds like Sam knows. Sam, if you could not use our seminar time to catch Joey up on that, that would be amazing. But you are your best resource. Honestly, like I'm old and I'm okay admitting that. And I know what I know in my own programs, but I'm pretty well useless for all of yours, but there are ways to find that out. So I want to encourage you to be each other's helpers. And if you figure something out, throw it in your chat with one another. That would be really helpful. So again, that bibliography page, it's alphabetical, same as it is lined up along this far left margin. It's called bibliography, not works cited. And it's your last page, so it should just automatically, if you've set up your header correctly, your last name and the page number should automatically appear there on that last page. So most of your articles are going to have an author, but you're going to have to dig a little bit, okay? You can't just use the website as boom, there it is. Just like I showed you in our Google Slides, I'm just going to go over to that again. Just as I showed you here, there was an author, there was a publication date, this is the title of the article, and then I included the website so that if I want to check, where did you get this? Or that is so cool, I want to use that next year, then I know where to go to find it, okay? So you are doing this. The only difference for when you summarize is you don't have a quote here. So let me, go back to pages where I have the, so if, for example, I put this in my own words and I simply said that Canadian sailors, soldiers, and airmen, instead of saying played a critical role, I said were involved in all aspects of the invasion. So let me just do this in live time for you. And if, say, I put this down here, oh, that's too bad. Why did it do that? Okay, so as a key point, Canadian, so let's say Canadian sailors, soldiers, and airmen were involved in all aspects of the invasion. See that these are not specific words that I would say, oh, hang on a second, there's no way you'd know that. I'm not taking someone's ideas when I say sailors, soldiers, and airmen. I'm just simply getting those three different categories of people. So I'm gonna put a quote here. I'll just show you. So for me, it is just like footnote, and see how it numbers it for me. It's amazing. And then I would put Foot Richard there at the bottom. Okay, so if I summarize something that wasn't my own and I didn't think of it on my own, which is going to be a lot of your essay, but I'm telling you, it can't all be quotes. You have to summarize those quotes, but then you simply put a footnote at the end of your summary. Again, if I'm using statistics like, so say Canadian sailors, soldiers, and airmen were involved in all aspects of the invasion, and I say to the tune of 150,000. That's not correct because I think that was all the Allies, not just the Canadians, but say that was, again, I don't know that stat, but these are my words leading up to the stat. So I simply need to cite, okay, I didn't know it was 150 off the top of my head. I looked that up, I found that out, but the rest, I've put that into my own words. I've summarized it, I've synthesized it, I've understood it, and I've used my own words to describe it.
So for every single statistic, we have to have a footnote and a bibliography reference.
That is correct, Joey. Yeah, and I
So
would err on the side of caution. You hear me saying, if you know something, I'm encouraging you, look it up and make sure you're not getting the date or the numbers mixed up with something else. When you look it up on that site, just cite that site. It's a pain, but that's how you cover your butt.
and then, so aren't the footnotes basically the bibliography just in the bottom of the page? So we can just copy paste the footnotes for the bibliography?
Yes, and order them in alphabetical order. So your bibliography is always in alphabetical order, but by the time you get to your bibliography, you have cited all of those things. You're right. Your textbook, the things that we've done in our lectures, those are all open for you. I guess you don't have any textbook pages from World War II. I don't think I copied any. I think I just used online sources for that. So anything that we did in our seminars together, you are welcome to use that information. Any questions about this?
Is there a maximum bibliography page limit?
Is there? Well, it's a 5-paragraph essay, and really only 3 of those are probably going to have your citations. Your intro might have a quote or might have a stat, but generally as you're starting broadly, you're trying to broaden out maybe Canada's contribution to the world today, if that's your topic. Maybe deciding moments at other points in history or other decisions that were made or not made that influence the course. So you always start broadly. So there's no, you shouldn't have more than a page, I would think though. So that's just a rough, it's a 5-paragraph essay, 3 of which are research based. The other, like intro and conclusion, not much research is required for that, I wouldn't think. It's a lot, guys, and I would love to be doing this in class with you. But as I said, I think this got pushed off last year because of COVID, understandably so. But it's too important to head into grade 11 having never done a research essay where you're kind of scrutinized a little bit differently than your research essays in elementary school. So I am falling on my sword and I'm being the bad guy because you need to know how to do this. And hopefully the topic that you've chosen interests you so that your research is stimulating and interesting, not drudgery. That's my hope.
For the summary citations, you said put a footnote after the summary, like for the number 2. Is it just number 2 or do we have to put other stuff as well?
No, because number 2, so if I, instead of quoting Richard Foote, if I summarized his information, I would simply do this information right here at the bottom. Can you see that? Foote, Richard, D-Day and the Battle of Normandy. That would be my citation for number 2. So
You wouldn't need the URL?
Sorry?
Would you need the URL?
Yeah, this is what it needs to look like. And again, that information is in your package. I don't want to spend our seminar reading your package to you because many of you are very great readers and that would be tedious. I want to spend this time answering some of the questions that might arise from there as you head into writing. So what
So
you
the only difference between number 1 and number 2 is you don't have number 2 in quotes then, right? And you're kind of changing the words a bit.
That's right. You're taking the idea. So you didn't know that statistic. That's a really important thing I want to stress. When you summarize it, you're taking the ideas or the statistics and you're putting your own words around them to make it flow. Maybe so that you're not citing a whole paragraph, you're only taking the couple of things that are really important to proving the point of your essay or the point of that specific body paragraph there. I just have to plug my Mac in. You guys have sucked a lot of energy out of my computer. Jokes. The last thing that I just want to go over really briefly in the minute or two we have remaining, okay, is so where do you go from here? You can literally in your search line say like significance of Normandy to World War II, Canadian contributions to World War II Normandy, and stuff comes up. Like it's that easy. Again, sift through those sources, skip over Wikipedia and go to something more scholarly. And I've listed Britannica, history.com, Canadian Encyclopedia. Those are still accessible to you. They're not so complicated that you're more confused after reading them than you were before. Those are accessible, but they're more scholarly. So not just anyone can post on those sites. And those are reviewed by editors before it goes live. That's the difference. And that's what I want you to. So we've used this period. Tomorrow's period, you need to get researching. Every time you research, I'm going to just, I will wrap up here very shortly, but I want to walk you through. So every time you research, like this, for example, let me just bring this up. Oh. Every time you research, quote it. Where am I going here? There. Okay, so this is what I did to show you. If you find something good, I would encourage you keep looking. So get 2 or 3 sources for Normandy. Put them in your Google Doc or whatever format you're using. Quote them in direct quotes. Write the title of the article and put the URL, so that when you go to do your bibliography, you can go back and find the information you need. But I would say while you're in research mode, keep going. So keep finding. If you've got a bunch of good search suggestions coming up, do your research on Normandy. Don't slow down and find all the bibliographical stuff you're going to need later. Just make sure you've got your URL to know where to get that later, how to click on it and find that nitty-gritty stuff later. So research, read what you're copying and pasting. When you've got 2 or 3, that's enough. Remember, it's only 1 paragraph. You're not writing your doctoral thesis on this, okay? It's 1 paragraph. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, depending on the quality of your research. That's all you need. You just need a couple quotes in there or 1 quote and some summarized material. As you make your case, remember, always go back to your thesis and that topic sentence. What are you trying to prove? You're trying to prove Canada's significant involvement. You're trying to prove this battle was key for World War II. Your topic sentence should lay that out, and then your proof should just line up with that. That's how you're going to keep it narrowed. Okay, I don't want to spend any more time because it is lunchtime and you need a break because you're seeing me at 1:15 for English, and we're going to talk about essays again, but also a little bit of satire. So I'm going to cut myself off there. If you have more questions as you're writing this, I had hoped our history essay could be submitted next week. That might be ambitious, but I'm gonna give you tomorrow's period, Thursday, and next week to do that. So we'll continue with that sort of timeline in the hopes that that's doable. But understand if you're struggling, let me know and I can adjust that either personally or for the class like I did for English to just push that back a couple of days to give us a bit of a breather. Okay, that's it. I'm really going to stop now. If you have questions, email them to me. I didn't get to questions in the chat. Let me just do that now if they're, yes, so Times New Roman font and Chicago style, do your best with that. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye.